ADHD is actually really poorly named because an ADHD brain doesn't always have a lack or deficit of attention. In fact, sometimes it hyperfocuses and pays too much attention. The problem is in regulating the amount of attention it spends. An ADHD brain also doesn't always have too much action or hyperactivity. Sometimes it can't get going at all. And the problem is in regulating the amount of action that it uses. In fact, ADHD brains struggle to regulate a lot of things like attention, energy, effort, emotions, and all of their other resources. It struggles to figure out how much of any of these resources it should give. It doesn't give just a little. Instead, it goes all in or all out. Psychologists call these regulation skills executive functions, and they're the heart of the issue with ADHD. So imagine your brain's an orchestra. All of your brain's abilities and functions are individual members of that orchestra. Your ability to put ideas together is a violin. Your ability to play with words is a saxophone. Your ability to recognize shapes and manipulate them in your head is a piano, and so on. Each individual ability has its own instrument and its own piece to play in any given composition. The executive functioning system is the conductor. This is the part of the brain that tells the others when to start, when to stop, to work harder, to ease up, to get faster or go slower. This is the part that tells one section to stop playing altogether while another section builds. The conductor makes sure everyone is on the same page, is playing the same song, and he leads the group so that they can work together. Have you ever heard an orchestra warm up and tune up? It's not a horrible sound, but it's also not what you pay to listen to. Each individual player is focused on their own instrument. They're each immensely talented, and yet as they all play their own tunes, the group as a whole is just a bunch of noise. The ADHD brain has a conductor that doesn't have enough energy. It's not that there's no conductor at all, though after a long, hard day it might seem that way. No, the ADHD conductor has just less energy than he needs to in order to do all the work he's supposed to. So what happens when the conductor is exhausted and asleep at the podium? Then, those individual orchestra members are on their own. And even if they're the most talented musicians in the world, the music that comes from that orchestra is going to start to leave a lot to be desired. So what can we do to help the conductor? First, we want to give it as much power as we can. Like the battery in your computer or the gas tank in your car, you want to power up that conductor as much as possible for the long task ahead. You do this with self-care, sleep, exercise, medication, nutrition, and meditation. All of these things make sure the conductor is starting each piece with as much energy as possible. Next, we want to take as much off the conductor's plate as we can. So maybe someone else could take a song. Or for some songs, the percussion section doesn't need as much attention. In the world of the ADHD brain, this is done by habit creation, routine building, distraction management, system building, and environmental management. The idea is to decrease the number of times you utilize the executive functioning system by either outsourcing, eliminating, or diminishing the number of tasks it has to do. So don't forget about your conductor. Give him as much energy as you can and make his job as easy as possible. Because when he's at his best, your orchestra can make use of all of the talent it has within.